Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Let me adjust my volume here. I'm Cindy Baker, productivity coach for distracted entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs with ADHD and other creative professionals. So I'm excited to share with you again hopefully some helpful tips. And we're going to talk about strategic planning. Um, there was an article in Forbes not too long ago that talked about 3 ways leaders drive success through strategic planning. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and I'll give you some tips on how you can implement that in your life. So some research says that 48% of leaders spend less than 1 day per month discussing strategy. So it's hardly surprising that nearly half of all organizations fall short of achieving at least half of their strategic objectives. Sometimes it's just something people write down and then they never talk about it again. Yet more than 90% of leaders know that this time of year is critical. As I'm talking to you, it is what's considered the fourth quarter of the year, if you're going by the calendar year. So the strategic planning comes into play each quarter, but especially this quarter. And so the success of a business strategy is, it can't be overstated. And so if your brain is an ADHD brain like mine, a lot of times you go, oh, planning, yeah, I got to do that, but we never get around to it. You have to actually schedule time to sit down and do strategic planning. Your plan needs to be adaptable, actionable. It needs to have a systematic process for setting your business's long-term direction. And so you have to understand where you are currently and where you want to go, and then how you're going to bridge that gap between where you are now and where you want to go. And it's not, strategy is not just a one-time thing, like a singular event. It's an ongoing process, because we have unexpected things that come up and challenges, and we have to be able to respond and adapt. So it's a continuous cycle, the strategic planning. So I guess it's in order to be successful, it has to be constantly evolving. And so you plan, you schedule certain times to do strategic planning, but then you're always planning in between those times as well. So really, strategic planning just means, excuse me, that you're envisioning the future and you're determining the best course of action to achieve that vision. That's pretty much what it is. It's an ongoing process where you set your objectives and you look at your environment and you define your strategies, and then you implement your plans, and then you review and update those plans. So the first step is to set objectives. Your objectives have to be clear, measurable, achievable, SMART goals, that type of thing. These objectives need to align with your organization or your business's overall vision and mission, in order to, provide a clear direction for the future. And then the second step is you have to do kind of an environmental analysis. That's where you do an in-depth analysis of your organization's environment, internal and external. And so that means the resources, the capabilities, the weaknesses, excuse me. And then externally, it means analyzing the market conditions, competition, stuff like that, any other factors that could impact your success. And then you formulate a strategy based on that, based on the insights gained from your environmental analysis. And you formulate strategies that should leverage your business's strengths and mitigate its weaknesses, right? You want to take advantage of opportunities and you want to guard against threats, right? Now, Making a plan, that's great, but you have to implement the plan or else it doesn't work. So you have to take those strategies and then translate them into actionable plans. And that involves allocating resources. Maybe you're delegating responsibilities. Maybe you're hiring out help. You're assigning responsibilities and setting timelines for the execution of the strategies. And then the last step is an ongoing review. Did the outcome, excuse me, I'm sorry about my voice. Did the outcome meet the objectives? And if not, then what kind of adjustments do I need to make sure? Now you just need to write this down. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be big. But there are a lot of benefits to doing this. It creates a forward-focused vision. So you're not just kind of stuck in the day-to-day, you're actually going somewhere with your daily activities. It cuts out on biases and decision-making with your team because everybody's, more on the same page. And then you can track your progress towards your goals and gives you a framework to do that. So you have to understand how your business works and how is it in position, how's its position relative to other businesses in your market. So here's some questions that you can ask. And these are just very simple, but you might want to write these down. First of all, where is your business now? So write that down. That's the first question. And that involves understanding as much about your business as possible. Like, look at your stats, you look at your data. How does it operate internally? What's the workflow? What drives its profitability and how it compares to competitors? Keep your reviews separate from day-to-day work and be realistic. Kind of step back and be like more detached. So you want to look at what's the cause and effect of how your business operates and just write it down and then review it periodically. So first question, where is your business now? Second question, where do you want to take it? So here you need to set out your top level objectives. Work out your vision, your mission, your values, your techniques, your goals. Where do you see your business in 5 to 10 years? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. What do you want to be the focus of your business and what's going to be your competitive advantage over your rivals in the marketplace? That step should be the foundation for the final plan and motivate change. So after you've decided where you want to take it, you have to ask yourself, what do you need to do to get there? What changes do you need to make in order to deliver on your strategic objectives? What's the best way of implementing those changes? What changes to the structure and the financing of your business will be required, and what goals and deadlines will you need to set for yourself and set for others in the business? I'm constantly reevaluating and pivoting and tweaking and improving. Think about the business as a whole. For example, maybe you consider diversifying. Look at acquisition plans, collaborations, things like that. And when you're asking yourself, where do you want to take it? That's the heart of your strategic planning process. And it can only be useful if you ask yourself first, where is it now? So they go together. So you got to balance your vision for the business against your current position, the practical reality of where you are now, and changes like changes in the marketplace, changes in technology, changes in the economy. You have to factor all that in. So a good strategic plan needs to be realistically achievable. So getting started with strategic planning is just like any business activity, you got to manage the planning process itself. You have to schedule it. You have to put it on your calendar, and you have to decide how you're going to do it. You have to put the right people in the right positions, and you need to stay on top of the process. Figure out who do you need to involve in this. Try to find the people who show the kind of analytical skills that really aid successful strategic planning. So you want to try to find a mix of creative thinkers and detail people. And if it's just you you'll have to think about both. Think out both sides of your brain. The good rule of thumb is that you shouldn't try to do it all by yourself. I would ask the opinions of a mentor, if you have other staff, get them involved. If you have external stakeholders, do a poll, a survey of your customers, your clients. And there's no right or wrong way to plan the process of strategic planning, but you can't make it up as you go. You got to be clear in advance how you intend to proceed with the planning session, and everybody needs to know ahead of time what's expected and when. So maybe you have a series of weekly meetings with the strategy team before you actually come up with the document, or maybe you block off a day or two for brainstorming. Once a quarter, I like to sit down and have like at least a 3-hour period to really do some serious planning. So, the priority is to try to get the process right, but you can't neglect the outcome. It's also important to make sure you get the results in a strategic planning document that really communicate clearly to everybody in your business what your objectives are. So you just need to write down the consensus of the people who are involved in it, or if it's just you need to clearly analyze where your business is now, where you want it to go, and how you're going to get it there. And so you just need to make sure it's a thorough analysis of both your business and the market. And there's different models people use for this. Like one of the most common ones is called SWOT, SWOT, and that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so a SWOT analysis is probably the best known model. And you can use it if you have small business, or even for bigger ones, or even nonprofits. You can even feed ChatGPT a lot of information and ask them to do a SWOT analysis. Now, again, you have to be careful that you go back and fact check, but there's a steeple analysis, there's the 5 forces, those are other models, but the SWOT analysis involves identifying an objective of your business or objective of a project, and then looking at all the factors that are for and against it, that are going to hurt you or help you reach your goal. So the factors that you're looking at specifically, you're looking at strengths. Those are attributes of the business that can help you in achieving the goal or objective. You're looking at weaknesses. What kind of obstacles would keep you from achieving your goal? And you're looking at external factors like objective threats and things like that. So write all that down. Just the process of putting your thoughts on paper once a quarter is so valuable, even if you don't do it exactly like it's supposed to be done or whatever, especially if you're just starting out and if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a solopreneur, you really need to write some things down. I know you got stuff going on in your head. Write it down. Strategic planning will push your business forward. So I hope this inspired you to go do some planning. I'm Cindy Baker. I'm a productivity coach for distracted entrepreneurs. I also work a lot with adults with ADHD. And I always provide tips on time management and organization, how to overcome overwhelm. And I do this as a speaker and also right here. So if you like these kind of tips, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all of the things. And